Welcome everyone. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the ladder strategy for finding the GCF of two numbers. Other than this strategy, we can simply make a list for either number, a list of all the proper factors. Obviously that's not very efficient. It also leaves some room for error. If we simply forget something on our list, obviously we're going to have a mistake in finding our GCF. So the ladder approach, we start by writing, I'm going to rewrite, I should say, each pair of numbers here. So we're looking for the GCF of 48 and 108. We're kind of making like an upside down division bar. That's our ladder. And we're kind of pulling out factors in each step on the ladder, if that's what we want to call this, step, or like I guess a piece of the ladder. It doesn't necessarily, obviously it doesn't have to be the GCF right off the bat. If that were the case, we could just look at the problem and finish it right away. More so us just pulling out factors. Any factor that we see. Could be the smallest, most of the time it's going to be something in the middle. And we're going to keep doing this until we can't do it anymore. When the two numbers don't have anything in common anymore, we call them relatively prime. And that's when we're going to stop. That's how we know that we're done. So I'm going to start right off the bat here. I'm going to pull out a nice easy number. Someone else might do the same problem and find something larger. Obviously there are larger factors, but I'm just going to pull out a 2 for starters. Now, I like to indent it a little bit. People also call this like upside down birthday cake. I've seen it called by other teachers because obviously you see like the layers going on there. Now, to fill in the next row, I would divide each of these numbers by that number I pulled out. So I pulled out a 2. So 48 divided by 2 would give me 24, and 108 would give me 54. Now I'm going to keep going here. Let's see if we could do anything larger. I'm just going to pull out another 2. Nice easy one to do is 2. If you notice they're both even, might as well. Okay, once again we divide. This is going to be 12 and this is going to be 27. Now 12 and 27, we can no longer do 2. 27's not even. Other possibilities, we'll run through the list here. I noticed that 3 goes into both. Okay, that gives me 4 and 9. Now at this point, neither 4 and 9 are prime themselves. That's why it's important we don't think of it like that. We defined it earlier as relatively prime. Okay, relatively prime just means they're prime in relationship to each other. 4 and 9 obviously have other factors, but there's nothing that they share. There's nothing that they have in common. Therefore, we're done with this technique, this ladder, this upside down birthday technique. So how do we take this from the way it looks right now and help us ultimately answer the question? We're looking outside the ladder, the purple that we wrote. All of these common factors we're going to take into consideration, and we're actually going to multiply them together to give us our GCF. Kind of makes sense. We pulled out all of these things they share separately, and now we're kind of putting it together, saying like, all right, if they had all these in common, then obviously the product they also have to share. And the product of 2, 2, and 3 is simply 12, giving us a final answer of a GCF of 12 for 48 and 108. So this was the ladder technique for GCF. Obviously there's other strategies as well. This is a little bit more visual and a good technique if you're having some trouble with some larger numbers, by just pulling out smaller ones until you can no longer factor them, or until they're relatively prime, as was described earlier. Okay, thank you guys for watching.